Hey friends, it's Dimitri through Brashka Streetwear. Another drive and talk. So it's really rainy out here, and right now I'm going to go pick up some inventory actually. Typically when I purchase inventory, so I get it manufactured or printed on locally in the town next door, which is not super far, so I just pick it up. And usually we're probably ordering like 3, 4, 5 different styles for the month. Not like a super gigantic drop, but enough to meet our demands with how much stuff customers are buying. So that means that typically in the month I'm making about 2 to 3 trips to grab stuff, or Michael is doing it and he's grabbing it, which is kind of convenient because he lives in the same town where it's getting printed in, and he can grab it and bring it over to the office along the way there. What I actually thought of before, and what I should have done for years already, which is a problem. I brought my notebook. Before I drove off, I wrote down my mileage on my odometer. I wrote down the date and what I'm doing, what kind of trip I'm taking. The reason why is because, and this isn't tax advice, I'm not a tax advisor. Wink, wink. You can write off mileage and on your taxes when you have a business for if you're using a vehicle for business purposes. So right now I'm grabbing inventory, and I'm also gonna stop by and grab a couple of supplies that we need. In the past I didn't really think about this. I'm like, I kind of knew it, like everyone knows that you can write off miles if you're using it for business purposes, but I didn't think about it. And this year this is I already have a couple trips in, but this is like my first time I'm going to be doing this, so I can write that off taxes, because no one wants to pay extra taxes if you don't have to. So make sure that if you have an LLC, and you make sure you're aware of all the write-offs that you can possibly do, because that will help you not give money to the government when they don't need it. I will actually most likely I'll get like a mile tracker app, so it'll kind of streamline everything. I don't do a ton of driving for the business, but a few times a week for sure, maybe like 3 times a week, I am driving somewhere and it's business related. And every single write-off that I can, I'm going to throw at it. It's legal and it's what every business does, so that's what I'm going to do. Another thing that I thought of today that's very interesting, because of Michael, if you're watching this, thank you. He asked me a simple question. He was like, hey, how many boxes are we going to be getting? Because he has a smaller car than me, like a Civic, and that can only fit a certain amount of boxes. We don't have like a giant van, and we're not getting all of the stuff delivered at once, so there's not really a need for it, and it's local. So he was like, hey, how many boxes? I'm like, hey, that's actually a good question. We have not recorded that metric, and one of my goals this year is to be more focused on the data and metrics and numbers, so we can perform better as a company. So today what I'm going to do is I'm picking up 2 projects, and from the past, they should fit in my car. I have a wagon which is really large, and I folded down the seats right now, put a blanket over all the seats to protect it and everything, and it could fit quite a bit of stuff, so it's never really been a problem to fit stuff into the car and transport it. But he asked me that question. I'm like, okay, today we're going to figure out exactly how many boxes. So I always order basically the same amount of inventory in regards to a design, of the units, so we know how many boxes will be filled up with that certain design with the number of units. So this will help us have data on how much we can each carry in our car, which is going to be very useful because Michael can only carry a certain amount. That's why I'm driving to the printers right now to get the inventory, because my car can basically hold almost double than his. And I was thinking about it, I was like, hey, your car's not going to be able to hold it. I'll go get it right now. We're going to record that data so we know in the future. So then when stuff gets done, I'll say, hey, can you grab this? If it's like one design, I know for sure that stuff will fit in his car. If it's two, it probably won't. And it also depends on the type of stuff that we're getting. So for instance, if I order 100 hats and I'm grabbing those from the embroidery place, all of that will fit into like a good sized box, just one box. That's not 3 boxes. If I order 100 hoodies, that's a lot of boxes. That would fill up my entire car full of boxes. If I order 100 t-shirts, that would fill up, again, one box, basically the same as the hat box. So that's why it's kind of important to get those metrics down so we know for the future. As we grow and as things get larger and eventually, moving into a warehouse and all that, I do have a goal of either getting it delivered to the warehouse, or most likely we will get actually a company van, which will be really fun. And hopefully the timing will kind of work out somewhat, because my dad, he has been like vying to get a new work van, and he has the perfect size van that would be really ideal to have as a company van. It's like a early 2000s Astro van, and it kind of like looks like an FBI van. And I was joking to Michael, I'm like, hey, if we ever get that car for that van from my dad, I'm gonna legit like get a vinyl printout and like write FBI FBI van on it. It's gonna be really funny. It's gonna be like a company vehicle, and I'll put like our website and all that kind of stuff on it. It'll be almost like a funny advertisement. And the reason why I would put FBI van or something funny like that is because I actually think that it would go. I think people would take funny photos of it and kind of share it on social media and with their friends. I think it'd actually be like a great advertisement, rather than just the logo and all that kind of stuff. But we will have that too on it, like somewhere. So I'm kind of like thinking ahead and thinking like how I can use it. Like, first of all, it will be a write-off, the whole car, all the mileage for that, any expenses for that. It'll be very useful to transport tons of inventory, and it's essentially a rolling advertisement. So there's lots of advantages of it, and the amount of space that is in there is definitely double my wagon. So it would be very useful. We can probably carry like 3 projects at a time, or we can carry, as we grow, we'll probably be ordering more inventory. We could probably carry like just tons more boxes. It'll be really cool. So that's been the one thing, and I'm gonna kind of springboard into another topic. So Michael mentioned that, and he has been in the office more since the year has started, because I've been gradually giving him work that is a little bit more tedious, and it consumes my time, my like mental energy, when I'm trying to focus on basically the art direction and the systems. I've always mentioned that's what I'm geared towards, and that's what I want to do as a business owner. And I've been giving Michael more work to do that he's capable of doing. And but the cool thing about all of this is that when you have 2 minds together, 2 or more is even better. Like, find an appropriate size, that works for your business and company, that's sustainable. But when there's two brains working, there's just way more creative flow in the business, and I've noticed that. So, for instance, I've made videos about process improvement. That's a huge tenet in my company. That is like something that we're always going to focus on, and it's always going to be important. And I recommend that is like, make that a pillar in your brand. Process improvement, being efficient, fixing your mistakes, not making mistakes. So when you're alone and you're a solo operator, it's sometimes difficult to see what kind of issues and problems you are running into throughout the day. Some of them are obvious and some of them are less obvious. The ones that are less obvious, let's say I'm like, hey Michael, can you go and do this task? Here's the setup. I am obviously training him how to do that, but I'm also observing a little bit of what's going on, how he's doing. And through that process, I've been learning, oh, this is actually kind of inefficient. Oh, let's fix this. So, for example, the other day, we had to make box dividers for the special inventory boxes that I have, and I made videos on that. There's a process to make it, and I have simplified that process over and over and over again. It's actually way better. It's the process of making it is better. It's faster, more efficient. Everything about it is better. But even at that point, I still found a couple more improvements to make just based on watching him, because I'm an outside observer. So when you're an outside observer with your team, if you have 1, 2, or 3 more team members working with on your brand, it's so helpful to just see that, and that helps you improve operations in your business so you can accomplish more throughout the day. If you have like pinpoint accuracy and efficiency in your brand, and it's only like you or a couple guys versus 10 people, but they're first of all lazy, inefficient, they're not focused, you'll be able to outperform an entire team. And this is true. This is very true, because my boss who mentored me, their company runs like that very efficiently, and he gave me like solid metrics on each employee output for their business, and he told me like, this is our business stacked against other businesses like that, and the metrics are just like way higher, like they're performing at a way higher level. So you don't need a ton of people to get a lot of work done if you know like how to run a business well. And that's been the cool thing. And along with finding process improvements like that, Michael has been a help a lot in regards of like creative ideas, because I'm like, hey, what do you think about this idea? Should we do this or that? And he's like, why don't we try this? And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. That's gonna be so like fun to make this video or do this project. And then obviously there's stuff like the other day we were photographing, I mentioned this in the other drive-in talk, we were photographing items in context. So for instance, there's some books for sale on the website, and they're really small, and I'm like, oh, we should have it so like someone's holding it, because it's like a pocket-sized book, and that gives it context to the size. And we still haven't uploaded those photos and stuff, but we were taking that, and then like we took a cool photo of a gigantic poster that I'm going to be selling on the website on the 27th. That's when we're doing the drop for the month. And stuff like that is like, yeah, I can do that by myself, but the setup times on tripod and like trying to like coordinate all those kind of little creative shots, takes up some time. And having 2 or more people to help facilitate in like operations like that, like doing creative photography and videography, stuff like that, it's just so much easier to have other people helping with the brand. What I've also noticed is that since I am offloading tasks and work and projects to Michael, my capacity, my mental capacity for other things has greatly increased, truly. Because, so I have my notebook, like literally this whole morning I was doing stuff, I'm like, oh man, this is a great idea. Oh, I need to improve this. I have been writing it down. Typically, if at the moment anything pops into my head, and I recommend this for you guys, immediately offload it onto your a phone app, like a notes app, or your notebook, whatever system is working for you. I use both, depending on the context that it's in. Because first of all, you want to get that processing, you want to get that offloaded off your brain and keep your brain processing power, because you don't want to have those ideas and those to-dos jumbling around in your brain. Get them offloaded and save it for an appropriate time to carry on those tasks. And the other thing is, you might come up with a super great idea, and if you don't offload it right away, you're gonna forget it. There's been times where I'm like, oh, what was that idea? I can't remember. It was like such a good thing that I need to do. and I didn't write it down, and either I forgot or I remembered it months later. Like, for instance, tracking my miles. I knew about that. I just didn't really write it down back then. And, you know, I probably wasted, I don't know, hundreds of dollars in excess taxes or whatever that I have to pay. So that's why it's really good to have a notes app or a physical notebook to do that. And because I've been able to kind of think more creatively and have the kind of brain power to do that, I've thought of at least 3 really cool little projects that I'm going to be doing for the brand. I'm going to be, my aim is to release something quarterly. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm also doing a little free, so I give out stickers with any purchase you make on my store, like clothing purchase or even a sticker purchase. I will always give out a free sticker. But what I thought of as well is, so I sell vintage books on my store, and I'm like, man, it'd be a great idea to make a freaking bookmark for people to give out for free. If they buy any book you buy, you'll get a free bookmark. I don't have them out yet. I'm working on that today. And the reason for that is obviously it's cool because it's free. It's a useful item, but the real purpose behind it is that it's brand engagement. So if my logo, images, website is on a bookmark and people are seeing it throughout the day, that is a more brand engagement with the customer, and that's what you want to aim for. Here's like the critical point for you guys. You want to keep your brand in the consumer's consciousness as much as you can. What that means is posting on social media so they see it daily, creating content like videos, right? So I'm making content for you guys, and you're engaging with these training videos and my brand as a whole, right? You want to give out free stickers, so when they put it on their laptop or their phone, they are seeing your brand and re-engaging with it. And what that also does is, well, that's free advertising as well. Other people will see that, and you don't even know how that is gonna spiral out into engagement. Like, you know, if someone has like a, you know, if they're wearing your logo on a hoodie or something, and then another person sees it and they're like, hey, what does that mean? That's so cool. Where'd you get that from? Or another person's like, oh, bro, I have that brand too. This is sick. There's so many like cool butterfly effect. That's what it's called. There's so many cool butterfly effect reactions that occur from that. So you're like having that brand engagement over and over and over again. Even I've had a crazy story where there was someone that they were following my page because they liked it. It was like a girl or something. And then they found out that one of their, a guy that they knew was also following it. And they actually basically like linked up. I think they're in the same town or whatever. And they started dating and stuff like that. I mean, like, there's this like crazy stuff that can happen from having like brand engagement and the butterfly effect and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. So yeah, those are just some thoughts that I've been having recently or the past day. I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you have any comments or questions, I know it might be kind of loud in here because it's rainy. Just leave them down in the comments below. And if you guys like this format of video of like impromptu talking, me talking and kind of giving you advice and just day-to-day stuff, let me know and I'll make more of it. So anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.